Kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Escondido, California. It's been a little grey and rainy today, but it's been awesome because I've been out dancing in the rain. If it was raining where you are, were you outside dancing too? Did you know that dancing in the rain can be very refreshing? It can wake you up, it can energize you, it clears the cobwebs. Anyway, hope you've had an awesome day. I've had a super fantastic sparkling day, a very productive day too. And I had somebody send me a question which I thought, well, considering the fact that it's one of the things that I specialize in, it might be worth answering. And somebody turned around and asked me the question is it worth going on group cruises? And there's two different types of group cruises that you can do. Well, yeah, technically, yep. You've got the totally forgot what I was going to say. You got the affinity group, which is a group of people with like-minded interests, or a group of people that know each other. So, for example, you might have a family group. You may have some friends going. It could be bachelorette party, a bachelor party. It could be a wine cruise. It could be one if you're interested in scrapbooking or quilting or crocheting or knitting or motorcycles. You know, it could be whatever common interest you have with somebody. It could even be a board game thing like we do. There's Scrabble cruises that you can do. There's bridge tournament cruises that you can do. Dancing with the Stars is another type of group cruise that you can do. So people are asking me, is it worth going in these groups? Well, you've got the affinity, which is going with like-minded people, either people that you know or part of a club or a group or similar interests. And keep your eyes peeled because I'm in the process of putting together a knitting and crocheting cruise. Because it's one of my things that I enjoy doing, but I enjoy doing it for charity. So doing knitting caps for preemie babies, knitting caps for chemo patients, for kids caps, adults caps, knitting blankets, knitting and crocheting blankets for chemo blankets as well, even for newborns, that sort of stuff. So I'll enjoy creating the knitting and the crocheting on the hats and the blankets in order to give them away for somebody else. And so I thought, well, why not take that and turn it into a group cruise? And what is the benefit of that? I will get right to that. But first of all, you've got to talk about a speculative group. This is a group that sometimes that we will put together ourselves, where nobody knows anybody on the ship. In fact, you don't even have to know that you're part of a group. It's just that the benefits of you traveling in the group outweighs you booking on a individual fare. So, what are the benefits of traveling with a group, and why would you want to travel on a speculative group or an affinity group? So, the benefits of traveling with a group are that they are cheaper than a regular cruise. For example, I had a group going out over Christmas and New Year one time. I had a group on a cruise ship, and when we booked the cruise, when we first booked the cruise, they were booking in at one rate. Well, the cruise lines do recall any unsold cabins a certain number of days before the cruise leaves, or actually months, and that was coming up to that. And because it's a popular cruise, the prices started going up. So we started promoting the group again by telling people, look, if you want to come on this, book it now. Your deposit is refundable, but book it now, because after this particular recall date, the prices are going to triple. Because if you want to book after the recall date, it will go to whatever the market rate is, and in this particular case the prices were tripled. So it was just unbelievable, because it was a Christmas New Year cruise. It was going over Christmas and New Year. No, left the day after Christmas. I know it was over one of those holidays. I don't think it was over both. But because of the time of year it was going, it's a very popular cruise. We managed to get it in really, really early and lock in those really cheap rates. And then by the time the recall date came around, anybody who booked after that recall date, where they took away any cabins that we hadn't sold, they were paying triple what those in the group were paying. So always look around. Always ask if you're looking at going on a cruise, ask your travel professional if they have any groups that are going that you could be part of, because you can get really good rates. The other good thing is that you also get extra amenities. So it could be chocolate covered strawberries in your room. Being a chocoholic, I love that one. It could be onboard ship credit. It could be a private cocktail party. Actually, the speculative group won't do the cocktail party for. We can actually do that for the affinity group. So the affinity group is those with like-minded interests, and if we have enough people going in that particular cruise, we can get a private cocktail party for those going on the cruise. We can also get things like specialty dining as a group. We could get, and these are all just different things. So affinity groups can also be where you've got somebody going on who is a coach or a speaker or something like that, and they want to take their VIP group, or they want to have a group of people coming with them, and so they can then turn around and they put an event on where it could be a speaking engagement, it could be teaching session, instruction sessions, it could be networking events, anything like that we can put on. We can basically put just about anything on a cruise ship. But we get the free meeting room space. So if you are somebody who is a speaker or a coach or a consultant or something like that, and you want to put a group together to be able to have that intimate relationship with your clients and have a more participation, because I will tell you this, on a cruise ship you have a captive audience. And the reason you have a captive audience is because they can't easily step out to take a phone call. They can't easily step out to respond to email. They're kind of like cut off a little bit when you're at sea. And the cool part is, and those of you who do events in hotels will know that you get charged an arm and a leg for meeting room space, and you've got to guarantee X number of rooms and all that sort of stuff. On a cruise ship, your meeting room space is included. It doesn't cost you any extra for that, and everybody's paying for their own accommodation anyway, and they get it at the group rate. So there's all sorts of things that we can bundle together and put together into the group that will just make it that much easier for you to have an event. Now for the speculative group, again, you get things like onboard ship credit. It could be, I'm trying to think of some of the things, chocolate covered strawberries. I keep going back to that one because it's got chocolate in it. It could be a bottle of wine in the room. It could be a bottle of apple cider. I typically don't like requesting the wine, because if you have somebody who, like me, doesn't drink, or somebody who's a recovering alcoholic, the last thing you want to do is put a bottle of wine in their room. I always end up giving my bottles of wine away to people that I meet on the ship. I find that they like to drink. Oh, here, I got given this complimentary, have it. So I always end up giving my wine away because I just don't drink. So there's all sorts of different things that we can do. So it's the different amenities, the cheaper prices, and if you've got an affinity group where you've got you've got a group of people together, we can also organise customized shore excursions just for your group. So having an exclusive. So if you've got a minimum, it's usually, depending on the cruise line, some of them are 16 people, some of them are minimum of 40 people, but we can actually customize your a shore excursion for you at one of the ports of call. So if there is something particular that you want to see, a particular port that could be related to something that you're doing, for example, going back to the knitting and crocheting thing, if we're in a port where they have some really good yarn shops and all that with different types of yarn, like some of the markets in South America that would have like your alpaca wool and all that sort of stuff, maybe we want to organize a shore excursion to go to those particular stores or stuff. If you're with a group that likes to party, it could be something like in Mexico going to Senor Frogs and doing a shore excursion and having a private event at Senor Frogs. It could be what was one group did tequila tasting in Mazatlan, going out to actual tequila place and seeing the process of making a tequila and doing tequila tasting at the end. It could be visiting vineyards if you're into your wines, if you're doing a wine cruise. It could be going fishing if you've got a group of fishermen with you. It could be going and playing a round of golf if you've got golfers with us, because we do golfing cruises as well for those that like to go on golfing cruises. So yeah, we can do that. So those are some of the things you can get. You get the good pricing, you get extra perks, you get unique insider experiences based on your cruise, and with the customized shore excursions. With the so always check to see if they've got any group space on something if you're wanting to go traveling. And like I said, I'm looking at putting together a knitting and crocheting cruise where we will be knitting and crocheting hats and blankets for chemo patients or preemie babies. I'm probably going to look at doing that next year, probably April time frame, because there's a really cool cruise coming up that goes from San Diego to Vancouver, and we've got a couple of days at sea on that one, so I might look at putting a group on that. If you are interested in doing the knitting and crocheting cruise, or know of somebody who might be interested, please send me a private message, and then and I'll make a list, and as soon as we get the details sorted out for that particular cruise, we can let you know as soon as that's available. So if you're interested in going on that cruise, the knitting and crocheting cruise, probably going to be, I think it's the last weekend of April. Or it's the last week of April. I think it leaves on a Tuesday. Trying to remember the date. I was only just looking at it today and I can't remember already. Sorry. But if you're looking at knitting or crocheting cruise, would like to come on that and help us knit caps and blankets for preemies and chemo patients, then please, anything that we create on board the ship will be going to charity. We'll be going to one of those organisations that deal with distributing those items out. If you'd like to come on that or are interested in it, please private message me if you want more details, and as soon as we get the details, we'll get them to you. Other cruises that we may look at doing is, there's one ship I've always wanted to do a wine and whiskey cruise on. They have a whiskey bar where you can do whiskey tasting, and they have a wine area where they blend, so you can make your own bottles of wine, where you blend other wines together. And I don't know, I don't drink, but it just sounded really cool. So I'm going to be looking at doing that as well. So if you want information on that one, send that to me. Not sure when that one's going to happen or where it's going to be located. But it's one that I've always wanted to do. But there's all sorts. If you have an idea about a group that you would like to put together, if you belong to a club or an organisation or an association, it could be, stamp collectors, coin collectors. It could be a car club. You just want to go traveling together and you don't want to drive the cars or whatever classic cars that you collect or whatever. If you are, I don't know, it could be a fan club as well. If you got an idea of a group that you'd like to put together, you can even do fundraising cruises as well. Fundraising cruises are awesome. I love doing fundraising cruises because we actually put an upcharge onto everybody's cruise fare, which goes directly to the charity, and then the cruise line will also match that dollar amount up to a certain dollar. So they'll do a per person. So say for example, we put a $25 upcharge onto everybody's cruise fare for that particular fundraising cruise. The cruise line will match that $25. So now you've got $50 per person going to that charity. So think about that. You get 20 people going. That's, what is it? Oh, jeepers, me and math. 2 people per cabin, so that's $50 per cabin, plus what the cruise line's doing, plus the cruise line matches that, so that's $100 you've got going in the end. You get 20 cabins going, that's $2,000 to a charity. So if you're involved with fundraising for an organisation or something and you want to do something completely different, then hit me up and we can even organise a private cocktail party for the fundraising group. If you want to do that. So, there's all sorts of different things that we can do. So if you're interested in putting together a group, or if you're part of a fundraising committee or anything like that and you want more details about how to raise funds on cruise ships, send me a private message. If you want more information on the knitting and crocheting cruise, send me a private message. If you want information on the the wine and whiskey cruise, whiskey and wine cruise, whichever way around you want to put it, send me a message on that as well. I've got a whole bunch of ideas. I have a notebook full of ideas for different things for cruises. But if you have if you've got a scrapbooking club or a quilting club or something like that, a fishing group or you got a group of guys that like to go play golf, and you want to put together a group, hit me up. We even have some benefits for you if you're a group leader as well. So if you want to know more about that, send me a private message and we can set up a time to chat. You could also go to connectwithhelen.com. And if you go to connectwithhelen.com, that will drop you right into my calendar and you can see what availability I have in my calendar and select the best day and time that works for you out of what I have available. And we can get on the phone and have a chat about the idea that you have for a group cruise. There'll be a comments field in there. Just put in the comments field that you want to talk about doing a group cruise relating to golf or a group cruise relating to, Lego. Group cruise relating to wine and whiskey. Whatever it is. Group cruise for, jeepers. Anything you can think of. Knitting and crocheting. Just put in there what your interest is interest is, and we can get together on the phone and have a chat. We'll actually get together on Zoom and have a chat, so we're face to face. But yeah, if you want more information about group cruises, about being a group leader, there's not a lot the group leader has to do. You do most of the promoting, but then you get people within your group to help promote as well. It could be you want to do a family reunion on a cruise, something like that. You've got, the other passion I have, genealogy. Actually, that'll be a good one. I need a pen. I don't have a pen handy. Dang, I usually have pen and paper close by, and I've got the paper, I just don't have the pen. So I've got to remember that. Genealogy cruise. Actually, I have a really cool domain name that would work with that brilliantly. Excellent. So, it could be remote control cars or something like that. And although, those ones we might have a difficulty getting on the cruise. They'll have to be pre-approved. But, if you have an idea, if you've got a milestone birthday coming up or a milestone anniversary, and, want to do a vow renewal at sea, renew, been married 30 years, 40 years, 25 years, 35 years, whatever it is, and you want to renew your vows at sea, get in touch with me and we can make that happen. Get a group of you together. You only need, the smallest group that you can have is 5 cabins. 5 cabins, that's 10 people. 10 people, that's it. I'm sure you can come up with 10 people off the top of your head if you want to do like a vow renewal, or you just want to have a group of you get together and just go for a cruise. Get a group of friends together and just to say, hey, we're going to take a break. Let's go take a break. I mean, how cool would that be? Just going cruising with 5 couples. You and your significant other and 4 other couples, and you've got a group. Just like that. And you might find some others that may want to join you too. And maybe the women can go sparring while the guys go golfing. Or maybe the guys want to go sparring while the women go golfing. See? Could be the other way around. Or maybe it could be a mixture of both. Some want to go to the spa, some want to go golfing. We can organise that. So anyway, that's just a few ideas. And thank you. Oh, who gave me that question? Andrew, thank you for the question on group cruises, whether it's worth going on a group cruise. Absolutely, because you get to sail with all your friends. And if you don't have, if you just want to get away just by yourself, always ask your travel professional if they have a group, any group rates that you could take advantage of, because sometimes we have the speculative groups put together where nobody knows that they're actually in a group, but you get all the benefits of traveling with a group. So that's it from me for tonight. Private message me if you want to know anything about anything about group cruises, or you can also go to connectwithhelen.com and set up a time for us to have a chat about a group idea that you might have. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we will catch you tomorrow. Hei konara.